Hello guys, it's the Eminent Trader, and in this video I'll be showing you my weekly outlook on some of the major pairs that I'm trading, basically what I'm expecting in the new week and areas where I'll most likely be having possible entries. And let's get into it. So the first pair I'm looking at is AUD JPY, and as always, you always start with your weekly. If you look at the weekly now, if you zoom out, you will see that it is still clearly on an uptrend, with multiple rejections around this area, which still signifies that price will most likely continue, and this is a weak high, which means it will most likely be taken out eventually. Then you go to your daily and you see a clearer structure. You can clearly see valid uptrends with multiple breaks of structure and your key levels. So which is the nearest level? This is where I'll be looking at for any possible entry. Now I can clearly see that it is unmitigated. This is a daily order block that is unmitigated after price came out. And this is my reason. After price broke out of this level, it has not come back there to mitigate this order block. So this is a very valid order block. And normally this is where I'll be looking for possible entries. Now, personally, I would most likely be waiting to see a reaction. But if I wanted to set a limit, I'll go to my 4 hours now. Going to my 4 hours now, I can clearly see that this order block has been mitigated. And what that means is that as price is coming back here, it will most likely ignore it. And I can see equal highs around here that was recently swept by the order block. That was what made this valid, and it has been mitigated. But then it has not really been mitigated, especially the body. So I'll mark the body out. Like I said, I'll be expecting a reaction. I'll be waiting for a reaction. Then I'll most likely use this as an inducement. And as you can see, this low is very strong. So anything that make price breaks here, this is where I'll be looking out for my next buy. This I'll be looking out for my next buy. So I'll have something like this. A very valid, unmitigated order block. And on the 4 hours, it means it's very valid. Remember, we are just looking at possible areas where price should be reacting from. So I have this, and I have this. And those are possible entry. If you want to use limits, you most likely be using something like this. Then you cover this low and you target the high. So you have something like this first. If you're a limit trader, so you target the high, that's a 5.5 hour. And if you are using this, it should give you like 3 hours at least. I'm quite certain about that, but I'll still go to the 1 hour and show you something. I'm just trying to show you. I said it, I need to be more done. So this is 4.5 hour. Those are possible areas I'll be looking at for entry. I expect this to be taken out. So I have this or this. Both are very valid. Even though this is the main one that ignited the main break of structure, all of these are just inside movement. This is the main break of structure here, followed by this. But everything here are inside structure. So this is also very valid. And JPY pairs, they like to use extremes very well. So if this does not hold, this definitely should hold because the low is very strong. But you should not be looking for sales yet, because everything here signifies what? Signifies buys only. If not, you most likely be trading against the trend. Now, if you go to the 1 hour, you can clearly see that this is an inducement. This is a valid 1 hour order block here. So this is where you start refining. This is a 1 hour order block here. So I can adjust my entry down a little to fit into that. And probably adjust this. And now I have a 5 point something around trade. Now this is the most recent structure. You can clearly see there's nothing here. The market is coming to sweep. On the 1 hour, it's consolidating. You can clearly see that it is consolidating on the 1 hour, or ranging as some people call it. It's ranging. This is a ranging market. It is neither going up or down, but the dominant trend is still bearish. So two things would most likely happen. Either price comes here and sells to sweep this liquidity or inducement, or price just comes down, sweeps it, enter into the demand zone, rejects, and come back to clear this external range liquidity and will continue the bullish movement. So I'll be looking out for what the market will do here. If I see a reaction here or a CISD, I'll most likely join it and sell, and I'll be targeting here. So I might have something like this, but that solely depends on what the market decides to do. So I might have a sell entry like this, a temporary sell, just to sweep this inducement. But let's see what the market decides to do in the coming week. So that is for AED/JPY. So let's go to AED/USD. Same thing, you start from the weekly. I normally do weekly to 1 hour. I only go to 15 minutes when I'm trying to look for entries, and that's when the market is opened. I can do that. So let's continue. So on the weekly now, I can clearly see that the market is reacting from a weekly supply. Clearly reacting from a weekly supply. We have gotten a low. We have gotten a full bearish candle that has closed with a full body and engulfed 2 previous candles. And what that signifies is possible sales. It signifies possible sales, at least back towards this demand zone. That is what it signifies. So if at all I want to even buy, this is the only place on the weekly. Remember, this is weekly. I'll still go to the daily. So this is a very strong demand level where I'll be looking out for whenever price gets there. This is a very strong demand level. I expect price to react massively from here. But then, based on the current structure, you go to your daily, then you figure out what is happening. This is a valid order block that just got mitigated. And you can clearly see a break of structure. It just changed character. There's no break of structure to the downside on the daily yet. You can clearly see this is a daily demand. This is another daily demand. The most recent daily demand has been mitigated, which means you have to be very, very careful. Even though this high is low, it looks most likely to buy. Basically, it looks most likely to buy. But then let's go to the 4 hours. So on the 4 hours now, we have a change of character. We have a break of structure on the mini structure. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for possible sales around here. The other block is unmitigated. This will serve as inducement. So I'll have something like this now. And there's clearly liquidity to be taken out. So you have something like this. If I were to be setting a limit, I'll cover the eye. And I'll target here. This will be my first target. And this will be my overall target. A 3R. But then, if I'm waiting to see a reaction, I'll get a better and more refined entry than this. So let's go to the 1 hour to see. This is also valid based on this. You can make a case for this too, and this will serve as inducement. It all depends on what the market decides to do. But the bottom line is that both can be cleared out depending on what the market wants to do. It can decide to pick this and continue selling, or come straight down and buy. Then it comes to clear all of this. Do you understand? Like I said, like I always say, the market is probabilistic in nature, so you have to be open-minded most times. Going to the 1 hour now, I can clearly see that there's a lot of noise. And this is one reason why I like picking most of my entries from the 4 hours. Mitigated. This has mitigated this already mitigated this. But this hasn't actually been mitigated on the 1 hour. This has not. Okay, it was mitigated by this one. So it has been mitigated actually. And this has been mitigated. This has mitigated this. This is almost mitigating this. So this will most likely be taken out. So I won't even be looking for sales unless I see a very good unless I see a very good reaction. This is the only unmitigated level. So you can adjust your entry to something like this. That's the only unmitigated area there. That's only unmitigated, and our target here. This will definitely be my first target. But then this is not my ideal setup. Okay, I can adjust this. I don't take any trade with less than 3R. So I'm taking this. This looks most likely to play out. But then there's nobility in patience. See what the market wants to do. Based on the current structure, this is clearly unmitigated, but an higher time frame key level is more important, especially if you find an entry in between that order block. So normally this is what I would be having. This is what I would be having. If at all I wanted to like set a limit, this is what I would have on this. Because on the 1 hour, I can clearly see bearish movement and a clear liquidity to be taken out. Sorry, to be taken out. So I most likely expect price to keep rallying up towards this level and sell. This aligns with the higher time frame level on 4 hours and on the daily. So this is the most valid entry that will be taken if at all I wanted to take a sell on this pair. But based on the structure, I'll most likely be looking towards a sell rather than a buy. As you can see, I'll most likely be looking towards that. So let's go to the next pair. So that is my bias on this. Let's go to the next one. The next one is Euro USD. I'm not really, where is it? Okay. This pair, I've said my comments on it. The price action has been somehow, very somehow, recently. So on the weekly now, I can clearly see that it's bearish. Even though it just reacted from a level, even after it created a change of character, but then we can clearly see it's reacting from this one. And there's something there on a daily, it's reacting from a daily order block. I'll show you now. It was a daily exactly. It's reacting from a daily order block. It swept this, entered into this clear order block, and it's buying. So this was where it is reacting from a daily order block. So it looks more likely to buy at least towards this level here. And I actually caught this, but I closed over the weekend. Because it started playing one annoying game, especially after this bearish candle. But then that is that. But it reacted from a valid daily order block that was unmitigated prior to this reaction. And if you were taking it directly from a daily set, you have been having something like this. Then you target here. If you just wanted to take it on the daily and just forget it there, this kind of trades now will take like at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks before getting to TP. And most people don't have that kind of patience. So if you can clearly see it's very clean. One thing about Euro trades is that they are always very clean on the higher time frame, especially the daily. It is always very clear. You will see the levels clearly. The CISD, everything, you see it clearly. You can clearly see this one. This was a clear, that's a clear CISD there that the market came back to mitigate and continue to the downside. But then this is also valid, very valid too. Then you go to your 4 hours. Oof. If you go to the 4 hours, you can clearly see the main reason why I'm still chilled. The main reason why I'm still chilled is the fact that I've not really gotten a proper close above this eye. If I can get something like this above this eye, for me to join this movement, if I can get something above this eye, then I'll look for my entries and join towards this level here. Well, currently it's reacting from a daily order block. This is it on the 4 hours. You can see how it sniped into it nicely. Use this as inducement. Set into it nicely. Cleared this, came back into it. So it is also clean, especially if you did not miss it. After this, came back inside and is rejecting nicely also. So if you had missed the initial movement, it gave option of re-entry. And for someone that misses this now, for you to enter, you need to wait for this break. You need to wait for this break. Then you anticipate a reaction and you bounce. But then it's nothing complicated here, exactly what I was saying. Because I need to see that. I need to see that level taken out. You can clearly see. Swept this inducement again. And now it's buying. So once this is taken out, you see how it goes from there. But that is that for Euro. So I most likely be buying, definitely. It's reacting from a daily order block. And the reaction is very nice. The reaction is very nice. Once we take this out now, there's nothing stopping it again. It's just going up. So you have no reason looking for sales. You have absolutely no reason. You're going to sweep all of this. So if you're marking this, you most likely be wasting your time. Because once it sweeps this strong eye, it's going. So the next one is GBP JPY. Let's go to the weekly again. No. So the truth of the matter is that most JPY pairs are bullish and their eyes are very weak, which means they might get taken out. the probability of it being taken out is very high. So you can clearly see this is the demand on the weekly, very wide. But then the weekly is just for me to know the buyers. I am still bullish. So I go to the daily now. It was initially bearish before, but then it has reacted from a daily order block to same thing with Euro USD. You can clearly see it reacted from a daily order block. A daily order block. CISD confirmed. That's come inside and swept. Now I expect it to clear this next one too. I expect it to clear this. And once it clears this, it's most likely sweep the eye. It's most likely sweep the eye and continue. But how do you join? You go to your lower time frame and you identify possible entries. As you can see now, after this break, it came back inside and continued. Now it has to sweep this before you can get any possible entries. And this is a possible entry here. This is one possible entry. If I go to the 1 hour now or 15 minutes, I'll see something there. But it might only play out after this has been taken out. So those are two possible levels now. This is also clearly unmitigated. It's also clearly unmitigated. But then let's go to the 1 hour. See. You see, you have multiple. Now it has even broken structure on the 1 hour. It has broken structure on the 1 hour. Clearly bullish. Clearly bullish. This is a valid order block. This is also valid. But this is not valid. So if it's coming back, it's either coming for this or this. I'll comfortably ignore this because of the expansion candle. I'll ignore this. I'll ignore this. And I'll most likely be taking it here or here. So this week is very straightforward. They're just using structure to identify our key levels, points of interest, and entries. So if you go to your 15 minutes, let's even play with it and see. Can clearly see on the even on the 15 minutes, it is good. So in this kind of case, you have absolutely no reason looking forward, looking for sales. You should be tilting towards buy. This is valid, by the way. Very valid. Very valid. So let's see what you can see that this is still inside that other block that I marked earlier. Let me show you. Where is it? On the I think it's on the 4 hours. Exactly. You can see all of those movements are still inside that other block. So for continuation, now you can clearly see that it has closed with a full body above all of this. All of these are what? They are bullish signs. They are bullish signs. So you have no business trying to look for sell. It will be too risky for you trying to sell from here, even though it is unmitigated. But then you need to be very careful when price gets here to see how it is going to react. So you've missed the initial buy already. You've missed the initial buy, but then see how it reacts here. Or it comes back and bounce, which is what we are doing here. If you go to the 1 hour now, this is a possible area. But then on the 15 minutes, you can clearly see a valid order block. This has already mitigated this. There's nothing here throughout this area like this. There's nothing here. This is the only valid order block. All of these are protected. So if at all I want to like set limits using my 15 minutes, I only have something here. And I'll target that I look for my 5 hour and be happy. So if at all I want to use this, that's the level I'll be making use of. Because price has not come back inside that level after it broke out. This is still the 4 hours order block. Price has not come back inside to test it since it broke out. So I'll be expecting something like that to happen. And you buy back towards that high. This is also valid too, but then it has been mitigated. So I don't expect this to hold. I don't expect this to hold. So we'll see how it happens. You might expect something like this. If you play it, most likely react here, then go up small, then come for this. And boom. So you might be getting something like this. So that is that for GG. Let's go to the next one. GBP USD. Let's go back to see this candle. And the USD pairs, they played with people last week now. So this reacted from a weekly order block. Clearly bearish. There's no argument. There's no argument. There's no argument at all. Clearly bearish. But then you can clearly see a possible order block here, but then it has not closed with a full body above this. So I won't call it a valid order block yet, but it is an order block. Do you understand? It's another block, but I won't call it a valid order block because there was no full body on the weekly. But on the daily now, there might be a full body there. Observe, you can clearly see what I said. So on the daily now, there's a full body there, which means that this level, very valid. These are now like this and this are liquidity or inducement. Allow me to change this thing now. Wow. This is not allowing me to change this thing. Okay. It's down. Show you something little mad person. So as I was saying, on the daily now, it looks bearish though, and it also looks bullish, and I will explain. On the weekly now, you can clearly see that it has reacted, and you can clearly see a change of character and a break of structure on the daily. That is a bearish sign. And where is the order block? This is an order block. This is also another one. Most likely levels where there will be reactions. Now that is clearly marked. You can clearly see the eye. If at all it comes back here to buy, this is where we'll be taking out. Do you understand? The market is probabilistic in nature. Now I go to my 4 hours. I go to my 4 hours. I look at it again. I can clearly see that the market is still on a downtrend, but it has created a change of character on the 4 hours to the upside. You can clearly see it here. And it was not reacting from anywhere. So that is another thing to take note of. It was not reacting from anywhere. So left to me, I expect price to clear this and come back towards this level here, or this one. But let's see what happens. When you are trying to use the current market structure, you can clearly see a change of character. So you need to wait to see a break of structure before you can decide whether you want to continue buying or not. So it is after the break of structure now that you can start saying, and this is a main break of structure on the 1 hour. All of these are minor. This was the last break. This was the last bearish break. This was a minor change of character, and this was the major one here. And this is a valid unmitigated order block here. So if at all I want to even look for sell, I'll be looking for it around there. If at all I were to set a limit, a temporary limit, I'll be targeting here. That's the obvious place to target. It's an 11 point something hour trade. But then the market is not my daddy's market. So you need to wait and see what happens. But going to the 15 minutes now, you see noise. You just be seeing noise. You can clearly see it. This will most likely be taken out. It is liquidity. But let's see what happens first. But the market is temporarily bullish on the 15 minutes. It has left possible buy levels here and here. This might serve as inducement for this. Left to me, this is the most valid one. If at all I were to want to buy, this is the most valid one I'll be looking out for. Then I can decide I want to cover the low and target wherever the fuck I want to target. Let's see. Where would I be targeting? For me to get my proper target set, I'll need to go back to the higher time frame. Okay, let's see. But like I said, I need to see a break of structure first. Yes, towards this is actually good. So if at all I'm buying back from here, and on the 1 hour it has been mitigated. On the 1 hour, this has been mitigated. So I won't even be putting too much eye on it like that, except I see a reaction, then I'm joining it. But then this is not something I would most likely take. I'll most likely be waiting for the sales, actually. I'll most likely be waiting for the sales. If at all I were to want to enter this market, these are the levels I'll be waiting to sell, to see a reaction, because they align more with the 4 hours buyers than the 15 minutes. I believe that is clear. This very valid, unmitigated, valid, unmitigated, mitigated. You can clearly see that's why it's taking this out. This has already been mitigated. This has already been mitigated by this. So it's definitely taking this out. And let's see what now decides to do here and here. So that is what I'll be looking out for at the beginning of the market itself. That's what I'm looking at. So it also aligns with the overall trend. This was the last major break of structure on the 4 hours. Remember, I told you that the market was bearish. But anything that has to do with buy is temporary and it has already been mitigated. So this is just waiting to be taken out by either of these levels here. Any bearish movements from here, I'm targeting here. So I can have something like this. I think I marked it before. Is it that this that I said was 11 hour or I wait for this? Or I wait for this, put my SL above that level slightly and target here. This is my ideal setup. That is my ideal setup. So if at all, this is what I'll be looking at for. It looks stronger than this. It looks stronger than this. But let's see what the market decides to do. This is also valid though. It is also valid. But then that is what I'll most likely be doing. Then let's see, time is almost gone. The next one is the weekly. USD JPY. Now this is one pair that can be very technical. It's not a pair that you just trade anyhow. You can clearly see that's come to mitigate that other block. This was what I was waiting for since I've not gotten any good entries yet because I've not clearly seen a rejection, but it has come back into a weekly supply. A very valid bearish order block, very valid because it created a change of character. So now I'm looking to see how the market will react. And there's still another one that is very valid here, still unmitigated. And this week high can serve as inducement for it. So the major reason why one has to be careful whether you want to buy or you want to sell. This is a very dangerous place to be. It's not something you just rush and enter the market. If you go to the daily now, you see that the daily order block is sitting pretty. It has not yet been mitigated. So if at all I want to even do anything, I need to see how the market will react here before anything at all. I need to see how it's going to react here on the daily before I can go to lower time frame to check for anything. So there's really nothing to talk about here until I see a reaction here. It is the reaction here that will determine what my next line of action will be. If it is taken out, I know that there's another level at the top on the weekly. Yeah. Even though it will take time, then I know that I'm buying towards that level. But on the daily now, I need to see how the market reacts here. This is a very strong bearish order block. I need to see how the market will react here before deciding anything, considering the fact that it is clearly ended there. This is going to just manipulate early sellers and take them out. It will just take early sellers out because price has not fully gotten into the bearish order block yet. If you go to the 4 hours, you will clearly see the manipulation. You see that price has not gotten there yet. It has not really gotten into that place yet. If at all I want to take anything. Let me mark this so that I won't mix it up. Let me mark this. This is the major one that I actually have business with. So throughout this place, I'll be waiting to see what the market wants to do. You can see that it's very wide. So it is after the market reacts and price has not entered inside that level at all. Has not entered inside it yet. So you need to wait patiently and see what the market does before deciding to do anything. But definitely I'm looking towards a sell. But if it comes back down from here without getting here, then this is where you should most likely be looking for your buys, if at all. But then the sell looks most likely to happen during the week. So let's check the last one, which is gold. For gold now, let's see on the weekly first. We are almost done. I have another session. So on the weekly now, we have this. Still clearly bullish though. It has not closed below the previous one yet. It has not closed below the previous week. Has not closed below it here. So you can't say it's bearish on the weekly. It is still bullish. Still bullish. You can't say it is bearish yet. But then if you go to the daily, you might see something that says otherwise, but nothing says otherwise. This is still, it just even reacted from the daily order block. So it tapped briefly into it. So it is reacting from a bullish order block, which means I expect this high to be taken out technically. I expect this to be taken out, then see what happens with this. But this looks kind of protected because anything below this, this is mitigated, nothing here. You go to the 4 hours. Let's see. Still very much bullish, unmitigated. So if at all I even want to buy, this is what I'll be waiting for. This I'll be waiting for a possible buy. If at all, this I'll be waiting for a possible like long-term buy. Then that is also an unmitigated supply right there. Clearly unmitigated. So then you go to the 1 hour. This is the nearest order block, or you need a break of structure on the 1 hour before you see anything. And this supply that was supposed to be reacted first, now it's about to break out. And once it breaks out from here, you have to like expect it to buy back from here towards the side, or you join it towards the next supply zone because it won't stop anywhere here. Once we can get a break from here, we are going to be just going like this. So if you get a break from here, you just see that it's just playing like this. So just keep playing till it eventually gets into the supply. Then you now see how it reacts from there. But if it breaks out here, I don't see it coming back towards this level. So most likely continue like this. Then you keep finding entries to join it. But if you go to the 15 minutes now, that one entry choke, you can clearly see. Oh, I purposely did not use FVG in this outlook this week. I just wanted to show you based on the normal market structure. Break of character change. So a change of character, break of structure, equal highs, equal lows, key levels, other blocks, and the likes. Basically, basic stuffs. So if at all, you can see it's mitigated. So there's nothing stopping it from breaking all of this, actually. There's nothing stopping it from breaking all of this, but it is not my daddy's market. It is not my daddy's market. So let's just see what the market decides to do this week. But this, after this, it has already been mitigated. So you can clearly see it has been mitigated. Market is not coming back here. It comes back to sweep it and sweep this. This will not hold anything realistically. And I won't really call this a valid order block when there's clear liquidity underneath it waiting to be swept. So I think that is that. I just need to see what the market decides to do around there. If it gives reaction, then you sell and target here. You sell and target here. Once it gives you a bearish reaction, sell and target. But if it breaks here, then Aluta continue and keeps on buying. So you just keep on buying. So that'll be all for now. I've been the Eminent Trader, and I'll see you same time next week. Be real.
Follow me for more educative contents like this.